ask me what I'm coaching, right? I said, bro, I'm coaching life.
We back with a Coach Class Pod exclusive, man. We got a nuke dropped on us, man, this week. Y'all know, anybody that watches Coach Class Pod knows that we really enjoy film, like through and through, movie lovers.
Yeah.
So we got to get into it. Sinners, man, dropped on, I went to go see it at 5:30 on Thursday.
Let's make it clear right now. It'll be in title, but spoilers.
Spoilers. Heavy spoilers. If you haven't seen it, do not watch, but watch after.
Yeah. This is Sunday, so it's the first weekend is almost wrapped up, so we're going, if you want to see the spoilers, listen to the spoilers.
Yeah, we're going into detail, so don't do it unless you're ready.
Stay away. We're going to watch it again.
Yeah.
Might have, we'll see. Yeah. I won't say nothing now, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, so Sinners, written and directed by Ryan Coogler.
Yeah.
We got to get this man his flowers, yo. Clap it up for that man.
Yeah.
Lived up to the expectation. Excellent film.
My bad. I want to say live up to the expectation.
Exceeded the expectation.
Yeah, because I don't think a lot of, based off the trailers, and this is one of my things about it, I was going to see it regardless, but I was like, you can't really tell.
Yeah, you ain't know what it was about.
Like, really, like, and that was excellent, because that reminded me of another film that was said about a lot, Parasite.
Okay, that was a good movie.
People was like, but you can't, with this movie, Sinners, in similar fashion to that, like, you can't tell how robust it's going to be until, like, you going through it, and you're like, wait a minute, yo.
This
like,
is good.
Nah, this is
really good, bro.
This is fantastic.
Yo. And one thing I wanted to give Ryan Coogler a shout out for too was keeping it like a classic vampire, if you will. Like the basic old guidelines, like from the Nosferatu Dracula days. Like he had to be invited in the
you gotta
house,
get invited.
The garlic, the steaks, all that. You feel me? I was like, parameters. This is a good little, man.
The daylight, and all that. But that's, nobody was walking around like Blade and stuff like that. Or it was just the overcasting.
Yeah.
And they could walk around freely necessarily. Yeah. I'm gonna start off with my experience. I saw the IMAX. I had to see IMAX.
As did I, yes.
When they shoot a movie, they shot the movie on, we spoke about it previously on an actual episode of the podcast, but they shot it, Ryan Coogler and them shot it in a lot of different formats.
Fire.
And IMAX, and then they shot it the ultimate way you could do 70 millimeter IMAX, different locations, premium locations. He's been popping up at certain spots that have been having them. So I was like, I gotta see it in IMAX, because when it's shot in IMAX,
it look good.
People don't understand, like, they just think sometimes, the movie's the movie. It's like, no, when it's shot in IMAX, it's different.
It looks good.
Design is different. The scope of it is different, of course, and when it's IMAX, they don't shoot the whole thing typically in full IMAX the entire time.
Yeah.
But you can see the expansion of certain scenes, and how that's an art to it. What scene do you expand into that frame rate? How do you, and all of the scenes made a lot of sense and stuff like that. And we're going to get to it. There was a scene in there specifically midway through. About roughly midway through that was like,
no, it was amazing.
And IMAX with the sound and how it visually looked, that's the way you were supposed to see it. Listen, we're going to get Blu-rays and all of this after, but that was the way you were supposed to see that scene specifically.
Yeah. And I got to recant a stance that I've had for a long time, yo. Michael B. Jordan, yo, I'm a real one, yo. I hated you for a long time. This was an excellent acting performance. When I first heard two Michael B. Jordans, I was shook. I'm like, this about to be, oh gosh.
Y'all know I don't necessarily see him as like on a Denzel level and stuff like that, but I never thought he was bad. Like, y'all would like be cooking him.
I hated him.
Bro,
I'm
he's
not gonna lie,
bad, yo.
But
the roles he plays, to me, he always did those roles well, man. Especially Creed.
Was the only thing, yo, that everything else I was like,
I liked him, man. I liked him. But yeah, I mean,
but giving you your flowers, Smoke and Stack, excellent combo. Yeah. We both got brothers. Even though we not twins, it felt like Smoke was the older brother for some reason. It felt like he was.
He called him Big Bro in the movie.
Yeah, it seemed like he was the older brother. That just the way he moved.
The child that came out first.
Yeah.
Because he was a little, they both was a little wild, but he was a little more reserved. He watched a little bit more. That's why he told the cousin. And we're gonna get to that. He told the cousin.
Even when they first opened the juke joint, he was mad. He like, yo, y'all can't be taking no cuts on the bread, bro.
He told him like, cousin, watch him because he don't always be watching. And we gotta kind of go through this a little bit, but he's like, because he always watching. He's a little more impulsive and stuff like that. So it's the dichotomy. That's why it was red hat, blue hat, stuff like that.
I liked it.
What I will say is
art.
Because somewhat rumor was like people was floating around and joking around was like it was supposed to probably be him and Jonathan Majors probably.
That would have been fire.
And
oh my god, that movie would have been too nuclear.
After I seen the movie, I'm like, I can see definitely why it would have been Jonathan Majors. But I had this conversation with my lady because we walked. You know how many we go to the movies a lot, and we were talking about it after. Jonathan Majors would have certainly killed it. He did a fantastic job. I think he would have been more scarier when he turned into the vampire.
Because in Lovecraft, he was great.
But I think the twins made it better. Mm-hmm. I think being twins actually, and like I said, I believe he would have did an excellent job. But I think being twins and seeing them, especially I don't want to jump around too much, but that scene closer to the end when they had to look at each other.
Yeah, that was hard.
I think that was best served as twins. Yo.
Yeah,
I think it was best served as twins.
No, he did it. It was great. It was a perfect fit for me. Like first off, more flowers to the movie because that's all we giving it anyway. Everybody was acting, bro. You know my boy. You know who my guy was, bro. We got to talk about Delta Slim, bro.
Hold on. Let's just try to take it. I know the excitement is because it's still fresh.
I know.
That's why I think we may come back again.
Yeah.
To kind of do a more what's the name, but
yeah, this is our first sight.
What I will say is, so they started off. Opening scenes are very, very important for films. Good. Very key. You got to have them. You got to do them. Of course, clearly you got to have them, but you got to do them correctly. They're supposed to have meaning and purpose. So it was a flashback type of scene. That's a classic type of way of doing it, right?
With the end.
Not a flashback, but not a flashback, but it's sort of kind of like the ending of the movie, and then they,
I like that.
Whatever. They start with the ending
that was
first.
A nice touch, bro.
And it starts off with Sammy, the younger cousin, who had a gift,
monster,
and he his father was a pastor. He went by Preacher Kid in the movie as well.
Yeah.
And you know how a lot of this is the cultural stuff and things at that time, specifically. When you was of the church,
you couldn't do
that. Was the devil's music. It was the devil's music, man.
It was,
and he said the devil was coming back, yo.
Yeah.
So he was playing that sinners and devils music. You feel me? And he basically told Pops like, "Listen, man, the cousins back into. I gotta get out. I gotta play this music, man. This is what it's in his soul. Yeah, it's in his soul. It's in his in a lot of the movie in a lot of ways expressed how." And we're gonna get to it like at the end. A lot of people, I'll just say it now. A lot of people had the best night of their life or got to really feel free for that one night in that joint. And they broke it down character by character. We'll get to that as it goes on. But his thing was, man, I got this gift. I got this love for this. And I know it's great to play in the church, but I feel like I want to expand my horizons and I want to branch out. And eventually, he had an issue with Stack when they was talking about. He was like, you can't just leave like we did, blah 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 blah, and this, that, and the third. But so basically, the movie starts. Boom, he's in the church. He's talking to his pastor, blah 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 blah, and then the twins come out. And then we kind of get introduced to, okay, they about to buy a farmland / shack juke joint, and they coming back from the war.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just traveling all. Actually, they were coming back from Chicago.
Because they say they was working for like the mob or something like that. And they probably robbed somebody for the bread. Because you remember, I hate to jump forward, but like it was just excellent character development in that like first 40 minutes. Just because even his wife called him out. Where you get that money from, yo? I don't want none of that bread. I know you did something crazy.
His old lady that he left back at home. You feel me?
She checked him, like, you feel me? And I just thought it was so dope and creative how they like Cause she was like low key the only reason they survived as long as they did, for real. She was the most powerful character. Yeah, you feel me? And I like how they had lost the baby and she was supposed to, know all the supernatural type stuff. And it's like, he ain't believe it, and then now they got vampires.
Before they get there, like they're going to go buy the land and stuff like that, in the place with the juke joint that they was trying to start, because
they copped it from a
part of it was their night. That night too expressed how they were able to say, we left because we probably felt like we had to leave. This is how my interpretation of it is. We went through all of this, traveled here, seen death and all that. You had to move and shake. One of them was the pimping in the way. Yeah. That's a whole other.
Actually sent her to break the wrong trick.
You got the husband to come out to show. It was
that's that bae, yo. Like, I know he from
because he was talking mad
that's
reckless.
Oakland,
he was talking mad reckless, and she was just like, "How much money we talking?"
Then he sent her, and then it got bad.
Well, he sent the husband. You feel me? And she was like, "Listen, man." I'm trying to get to that because they was picking cotton. See, this is how it's going down. I'm gonna go piece by piece with my perspective.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, but so anyway, I say that to say that night was them coming home, and they really, it just feels like they didn't really want to leave home, but they felt like they had to leave home. Yeah, that was my interpretation of it. So everybody came together that night to get away and experience that night of freedom. Yeah, that's how I kind of felt through the music and everything. The music played a monstrous role in this film. So fire. Culturally, the history from the past, the shots, present, the
like
future.
Around the juke joint.
We're gonna we gonna get to that.
My bad.
We gonna get to that.
My bad. All right.
So they going, but this is the key thing. When they was buying it from what?
Yeah, Klansman, bro.
The Grand Dragon.
Yeah. And I knew Smoke and Stack was really standing on business. They was really like that, because once they paid them, they told him basically like, yo, you could try that if you want,
don't ever come back here,
but don't come back on my land, and try something weird, because it won't be good, yo.
Yeah.
He gave him that statement.
He said, no, it's gonna be good. I'm clapping you.
Yeah. Somebody's dying.
I'm laying everybody down. They had me come over here, right? And so, because we could sit here for mad long talking about it. So he goes back into town. They go to go find everything that they're gonna put
they need for the juke joint.
For the juke joint. A lot of stuff
talent,
that they didn't have legally. They shouldn't have got legally. So they hit it off, off on the side of the country road. And then I guess it was taking too long for who needed to get there for them or whatever. So they had to split up. That's when he told the cousin, go watch his back. What's that? Smoke.
Yeah.
Something mixed. Yeah. So Smoke. Go watch his back, because he don't be. He get involved with other stuff.
Moving and shaking.
Yeah. I'm gonna go in town. He gonna hook with the people from China.
Yeah.
I guess their parents were immigrants, so because they seem very much Americanized at that point. But they knew how to do the food. They knew how to do the signs, and this, the that, the third, and just knew how to piece stuff together. Everybody played a role. And we talking about Stacks, his lady, she was with the food and a bunch of other stuff. Yeah. So he went into town. The funny joint, the comedy, so perfectly placed in here.
Great place.
So she told the little girl, he's like, hey man, come here, listen. You know how to count this, that, and the third. Yeah. Stand here, watch the truck, make sure nobody going in. If somebody does, if I'm in there too long, I'm gonna pay you about a minute. If somebody on here honk their horn, and she was honking that horn, it came out, they was trying to rob his truck, man.
But even what was so interesting about Ryan Coogler's writing, you remember how he tried to drop the gem. You knew he was a good guy, yo.
Goodish.
Cause he like, yo, yeah, he was a bad man, but he was a good guy. Cause he told her like, yo, you never take the first off.
Yeah.
Like, yo,
he told her
if I give you this, you negotiate with me.
Taught her how to negotiate.
Taught her how to, you feel me, as a hustler, like, yo, I'm gonna give you some game real quick. I'm gonna pay you, and yo, she held it down.
And that's why in the store with who we was talking about earlier, he wound up. They did their negotiation thing. Yeah, the price, but he taught her a valuable lesson.
That's hard,
but he shot first buddy in the behind.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
And then they was cracking jokes. It was good dialogue in between it. It was like, yo, bro, it's a lesson. Because he didn't try to kill. It was somewhat honorable. Yo, it was like, I'm not trying to kill you, but yo, you can't just be walking around. And then the other one, it looked like he was gonna get away scot-free. He was just nervous. He shot him in the knee. He was like, man, I can't have you just walking around like saying, I almost robbed him. Because that's the rep thing. Yeah. If the rep starts slipping, they lose everything for real, especially during that time. That was dog eat dog. So, So you had to do that, but it was a lot of comedy and stuff in between those. What's the names, and the dudes were still like, there's somebody else, all that type of stuff. Anyway, if you've seen it, you know exactly what we're talking about. Yeah. Absolutely hilarious.
Yeah,
show.
great. And then from there, they go on the quest to collect like the talent for the juke joint. So I think they went and grabbed up Delroy Lindo first, right?
That's what Smoke was doing.
Yeah.
In his
so
town.
they went into town with I'm forgetting the character's name now, but the guy that lived till the end.
Preacher Boy.
Yeah, Preacher Boy, and
the cousin.
Basically, long story short, they go into town. He negotiating with him, so you see his side of the negotiations. And Delta Slim, who smoked it, bro.
Yeah. We know how we feel about Delroy, yo.
Bro. Delroy one of the goats, bro.
Oh, yeah.
And, like I'm like, yo, stop, yo, chill, yo. You gotta chill. You acting too good right now.
Yeah. The drunkard who, and this is another reason why I'm gonna actually go through piece by piece. The drunkard / very talented guy who's older, who never really got to branch out the way he would love to, and that's what plays with the cousin and him in my eyes. The cousin is looking to do that, and ultimately, we'll talk about that. And ultimately, he does. And his thing was, I'm drinking. I've been through a lot of crazy stuff. You hear about the prison stories and this, and him losing his friend, and all of this type of stuff. And his thing was, I'm just gonna get my security. Yeah, I don't really necessarily probably rock with this club like that because what's the name? Smoke offered him $20 a night.
Yeah. Because he's like, that'd be for one night.
He said, y'all might be one night.
Here for 10 years, and it's gonna be here 10 years after that.
Yeah, probably after I'm gone. Yeah. He's like, so basically, I'm performing here.
Knowledge.
Yeah, I'm performing here because it's stable. It's stability right now. I don't necessarily love it, but I'm getting my booze. That was number one for him. Yeah, and I'm alive. As of right now, and y'all, I don't know what's coming of that. Eventually, Smoke makes him offer he can't refuse. Yeah. Offers him that Irish beer.
Yeah, the Irish beer must have been like the real delicacy.
My man, when he pulled it out, he was like,
they was mad happy. Yo,
and then he pulled it out of a little like the Crown Royal bag.
Yo, the beer in the Crown Royal bag is crazy, bro. But that he definitely did.
Because that would be like I'm pretty sure I know somebody. Well, come on, you gotta. I thought it would be like the Prohibition era. I think because it was 30s, somewhere.
Yeah, it was like 19. I think 39 or something like that.
Yeah. But somebody, if you know, say it. I don't care.
Yeah, comment. Yeah. We want everybody engaged, because we love this movie.
But the key thing was he noticed. He's like, Stack said, "Yo, if you notice somebody staring too long, make sure you
on your square. Let me know."
And that's when the one to allow a lot of things to happen. Yeah. Intervene. Is staring. It's just like between him and when they both branch off. This is when the two very important ladies come in their lives. Yeah. Separate instances.
Yeah, they was back home.
Yeah. So she came back down because her mom had passed. Apparently, mom helped them out with so much.
But she made the block hot. Like back then, she was staring him down. Yeah. In town, broad day.
She was passing.
And pressed down on him.
It's a lot of people, she's straight up white.
Yeah, you could not do that, yo.
Yeah. He's like, we come to find out he really was trying to shoo off because he's like, I love you and I don't want to get you killed. Yeah.
And that was like Emmett Till times. Like they would do something crazy back then, yo. Yeah.
So and then Stack's lady, who wound up her mojo, and then they go through the whole thing with the little girls that came up, and she was giving him a little bit, and he don't really believe it, but she like, this is how you survived all of this and all of that, and then but they found out the baby had passed. Yeah, and he was like, that mojo didn't work for the child, and this and that, and they go.
All the scenes was so powerful, bro. Yeah. That's why I got to see it again, because I like how you said that, like when they both ran into their person, if you will, and it was like, yo, they could read through all that, like, yo, I don't care you. You know what I mean? That's how it really be.
Everybody else got this look with you and then all that, but I know you.
That's how it be with your woman, yo, because you feel me? That's tough, yo. Like,
so let's try to jump a little bit, but so they one of the they go through this, they go through that, they piecing things together, they going through the town, they blah blah blah, this person, that person. We talked about how he met old boy was I can't remember his name. He was picking cotton.
Oh, my man,
Cornbread.
Yeah, Cornbread was hilarious, bro.
And Cornbread wanted, to me, his reason that night when all of these people were having their night of their lives. He just, to me, have a purpose, feel important. That's just my interpretation. He was the doorman, kind of the bouncer, make some money, and instead of out there picking cotton, back from that period, even before that, it's like the family, or that lineage just didn't get past that in my eyes, and that's why his lady was like, "Yo, I'm trying to,
go get that chicken, bro."
So that night he got to be somebody, say, "Hey, this don't happen, that don't happen, boom, 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 that's this, that, and the third." So anyway, they put him.
I like
together.
that perspective.
Yeah, they got him out there and got him on board, and they just literally putting the pieces together, telling stories piece by piece, and that's what's so amazing. Piece by piece, the music in it, the sound, piece by piece. Like I said,
every scene was needed.
And eventually, after about character development for quite a few people, you get to the point where they finally introduce, which would be the first vampire, the lead vampire, the vulture, the culture vulture, who pops up just out of nowhere, and you can see the sun is
it's burning him. And
it's starting to set, and he goes up to a house and like, can I blah 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 blah. And the first thing they look in, you see the clans,
the clan hoodie
there, which was linked to I think the nephew of the Grand Dragon or whatever. From the beginning, that sold them the spot, who was ultimately, I'm going to jump a little bit, ultimately was going to end up, basically it was a trap to end up killing all those black people and smoke his stack. When once they opened the Juta, their plan was always to come back and take their money, kill them, and then make up an excuse for how they passed and stuff like that, which you've seen at the end, which they came to do. But he's like, let me in, blah, blah. He comes up with this great story. He let the husband and them let them in. Yeah. Eventually we see the indigenous people coming out like, yo, y'all got somebody in there. Y'all ain't, he's not what y'all think he is. Yeah. We trying to get him out of here. And that's who he appeared to clearly was running from. Yeah. Because they were here before. They know everything about
exactly. I like that tie-in too.
And the sun is going down. And it's like, hey, listen, we coming here to warn y'all, but at the end of the day, you don't want to listen? It's on y'all. Yeah. We know it's best.
Like
you know what I mean?
I would have listened, though. I'm like, they got a whole brigade of dudes on horses. I would have been like, something ain't right.
Yeah. But
back then it was divisive. It was divisive. Exactly. It was a divisive time.
And she goes back in the crib, the wife, because she answered the door. And she's looking, and then her husband is cooked. He's on the ground, neck all cooked up. You feel
bleeding
me?
from the neck.
Bleeding from the neck profusely. And
the bloody face,
he becomes
with the
a victim.
Red eyes. Your boy just in there chilling.
Yeah.
Everything's fine.
So eventually, she becomes, they introduce her later.
They all turn.
Also, Preacher Boy, he saw him a lady.
That's the confidence you gotta come with, bro. I respected it, yo. The press down was crazy.
If she was married, that was nasty.
That was wild. You can't be but maybe she was saying that just because she didn't want him to press down and everybody be pressing down.
But here's the thing. That's why we keep talking about the night. The best night of their lives are the nights that feel free, so to speak. And the reason I keep saying best night of his life, because at the following credit, when he's older, he basically said, that's the night I felt, it was the best day of my life. You know what I mean? As sick as it was, because we just were free. But her thing probably was, she probably was with a guy she really didn't love.
And back in them days, like, dudes would be like damn near grown and they marry a chick that's like 16. It's like, like, I'm a military guy, you impressed. Then it's like,
because
she might not even like him no more.
She had a portion in it where she was, singing and dancing on the stage, and it was like she got to break free of the lifestyle that she probably felt that she had to have. I'm not giving excuses, but I'm just saying, that's what it seemed like.
And it was a different time. It wasn't a lot of.
Well, a lot of that stuff in the movie, which is so fantastic, is it showed that those were different times, but a lot of the stuff is the same. Yeah. He was using classic lines like, don't I know you from somewhere? Yeah. And then she was like, well, I'm married. The man said, these lines never go away. The man was like, are you happy?
The polite press down, with aggression. The aggressive, polite press down.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, it shows like things change, but things still the same, and that's what happened with that. Yeah, with that scene,
a great scene. Great
so
scene.
all the people come in, a lot of people from out of town. You talk about how the money, some of it, when the wooden money and stuff like that. He like, we running a business, a straight hard dollars. He like, we trying to let these people, let them feel good, man. It ain't just about the money.
It's rough out here, yo.
It's rough out here.
Rough out here, yo. We all picking cotton.
It's about paper
for hours.
You know, Stack was mostly about the paper, and Smoke was like, yo, it's about all of it, right? And so I want to jump around. So the music played a good role. They eventually had Preacher Boy and Delta Slim.
Yeah.
Finally, Delta Slim introduced him in a player way. He said, "Nah, this don't just sing or get your guitar, because the guitar was played a major factor." I want to say that. He was like, "Introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Let the people know, man." Like, I really, that was old, like an old head not hating, wanting to see the young boys shine.
Yeah.
That's a lesson. We talk about that a lot.
Don't be an old hater.
Shine, you know?
Oh, and I hate to backtrack a little bit.
Go ahead.
I wanted to say that scene in the car might have been my favorite scene of the whole movie, when Delta Slim was like explaining to Preacher Boy that like what happened to his homeboy, like really explaining how grim of a time it was back then. Like, bro, they basically made a play, they made a lot of money making music or whatever. They went around. They claimed his friend his man's raped somebody, a woman, and he didn't. And they went and all got him and lynched him and cut his private parts off. Like,
at the train station when he bought a ticket to try to get away.
Yeah, and it's like,
and then, you know,
it was nasty times.
Because when they were
then
driving,
he hit the bottle, but it explained
that's what I'm saying.
The grief and the pain. Like, yo, I'm doing what I love, but my boy.
If you're gonna talk about the pivotal part, how they got there, because the nephew started being inquisitive, asking questions. Yeah. Because they drove by a bunch of
guys that was in the chain gang. The chain gang was out there. Yep.
And he was like, "Hold your head up."
Yeah.
Hold your head up.
And I'm like, yo.
Eventually, they shot the gun in the air to stop all of them, but they was like trying to salute and everything. And the nephew wound up finding the cousin. wound up finding out. He was like, "Do you know them?" He's like, "Yeah, I know all of them. You know, this and that." And that's how they started getting into that whole mode of that.
Yo. So fire, bro.
So they in there, and because I want to get to the main scene.
Yeah, let's get there.
The part that really had everybody like, whoa. When they get in there and he starts to sing and do his joint, he's revving it up. He's revving it up. He's revving it up. It's a one-shot scene.
Yes. Art. That was art, bro. He pulled out the paintbrush.
That's one of the greatest scenes.
He pulled out the paintbrush.
It's in the archive of all-time great scenes.
He pulled out the paintbrush.
They going through. They showing everybody enjoying themselves. He's doing his music. He's singing. He's singing his heart out, playing that music. So and they said he learned all of it. Like, it was his first time. This is his first official acting role, I think.
Yeah.
And he learned the blues and all that, right?
Cooked it, bro.
He killed it. So while they going through, you just hearing the music, and then they start going through different time periods.
That was hard. Because I was confused at first when it was like a P-Funk looking dude that popped out, and then it was like, then they had him doing the straight.
Mike, when they started doing it, and eventually the barn burns down, the whole thing. So it's a barn burner. Literally, the party was a barn burner. Yo, everybody in there was turned up. And they started introducing they even introduced the Chinese joint through there and stuff like that. But what was hard was, I'm not gonna lie, yo, they might need to resurrect that, yo. The trap twerk music, I mean the blues twerk music was hard, yo.
Blues twerk song.
It was hard. I'm not gonna hold you, yo. It was hard, yo. You know that rhythm and that bop.
That movie was.
It was in there. You feel me? Like, I was like, nah. So they going through all those time periods. They went to the dudes probably from slavery time with his like banjo or whatever. Yeah. They went to the like you said. They went to like the future. You know, like the Gosh. But you were saying it earlier, like the P-Funk era, all that type of thing. They did it. They did the West Coast, East Coast. It was just crazy, man.
That was I don't even know what you call it. Like, that was like the climax of the movie, but before the climax. Because it was cool that, like, they wrote in, like, oh, you could be so great at playing music. Sometimes it'll speak to other entities and stuff like that.
The music is powerful.
Then the music was what attracted the three vampires to come up. You feel me?
Yeah, and that's the biggest. The music was the biggest thing.
So hard, bro.
It was a character within itself. It's spiritual. That's what this. The music is. Yeah. Music is the most, like, probably the most powerful form of entertainment.
Yeah,
like, it really. It is. It's so much time. I don't even get into that whole thing, but like,
I'll never look at the river dance the same, yo.
I'll never look at it the same because they said they came for
Preacher
Boy, man.
Yeah.
his music, his power, and they came and they did their little tunes, and they was trying to beg. They was asking, "Can we get in?" And we got
the
money
song
to
they
spend.
performed was mad creepy. I'd have been like, "Yo, get out of here, yo, y'all scaring me, yo."
But we noticed what happened was it was kind of like it was cool, good little music for what they doing, and it was kind of soulless though. Like it didn't have a. But as you notice, the music started changing and being more, had more of a life to it when they started acquiring.
Oh
More
yeah,
people and more souls. Like that's what they, and because they started doing at one point indigenous people type of music. Like it was, Then they went to the whole Irish joint and they started river dancing with them.
River dance,
he was going crazy, yo.
Yeah, he would have did numbers in Baltimore club music days, yo.
So the lead vampire comes back, of course, with the husband and wife. He got to, and then they just start picking everybody.
And it was just cool though, cause when who was the first? Actually, we gotta go back a little bit. I forget his name now. Stack. He sends his girl out to be like, "Yo, how much they really talking with bread?" And she pressed down on him like, "Yo, y'all said the money funny." Like,
she was
honestly, low key, that was honorable, yo. I don't know how everybody feels about lifestyles, but that was very honorable. She actually was honorable. I thought she was honorable, yo.
The thing about it was, because I'm just being honest, because of her being mixed or whatever.
Yeah,
she felt like I could play both sides. So she figured I would be acceptable to go out there because y'all don't want them in here for this, that, and the third, and they played on that side of her to eventually, get her. And as soon as I heard she was going, I said, "Oh, she's definitely going to be the reason because she's going to ask to get in, and nobody's going to think twice about it."
Yeah,
she came right in. She was welcomed in.
Yeah, and
everything turned up from there, man.
Yeah,
a lot of comedy in between. I don't want to go because stretch is too crazy, but a lot of comedy in between.
That was a great crescendo.
Cornbread was the best person when he flipped because he went to run to the restroom.
Yeah.
He like, "Hey man the door for me, Delta Slim, this, that, and the third. I gotta go to the bathroom." You feel me? He go out there and eventually they get at him and he tried to come back in. They like,
that's why I rock with the wife because Michael B. Jordan, Smoke was about to be like, what is you talking about? Come on in. But then she like, you've been in here all night.
Yeah.
Now you asking to get in?
Yeah, it's like, why you can't just walk she's like, why you can't just walk your big ass in like you've been in all night? Yeah. He was like, "Man, I'm trying to be polite." He was trying to be, it's like, they all sit there like, "Yo, just walk in," right? Yeah. If you like, they didn't just say just walk in because that would be it. They were just like, "I don't understand why you just won't come in if it's not a problem." He like, "Come on, man."
And that's how you know Smoke honorable though, because I wouldn't have reached out there. I would have been like, "Yo, I known you for years, yo. Why you acting like this, yo?"
Yeah, he reached out to give him the money. Yo, went to bite his arm.
Michael B. Jordan thought he was Django and John Wick several times in this movie. He grabbed him out, shot him in the face, and then got back in the building. And I'm like, yo, this crazy, bro. Like,
then with that, I'm gonna jump a little bit and then jump back and then try to close it out. But the craziest one was when they thought old boy was turning that was inside. The first person that got cut because of the fight because they loaded dice and everything inside, and they find out. They was like, "Wait a minute, you sure that's blood?" They find out it's like red wine or whatever. Yeah. So they're like, "Wait," because they put his body out. They're like, "Wait a minute, I don't think he a vampire, yo. He out there." What's so crazy is, this is what I was kind of lead up to it was that they were to put him out. They put some Get Out in it. You have to have this in horror type of settings or movies with that bit of element of, yo, just why like you just like losing your senses for a second and it doesn't make sense. That's what makes a good horror movie. And it's like the Get Out moment or the Run moment or the man, if you don't get back in moments. So they out there and it's like the cousin out there looking like, what's going on? Yeah. And then it's like, yo, just go back inside this juke joint, yo. And eventually, they wind up getting the dude and he like, "Hey man, yo, and he get caught. He like, I just passed out because I was drunk. You feel me? So hooked. But eventually what happens is Smoke's lady, man, she get him in the back. They doing what they doing or whatever, but he don't know that's a setup to turn him a vampire. And that's when the brothers have thing, and then the whole, man, my brother, I gotta kill him, but I can't kill him. Yeah. Eventually, we skipping through a lot of things. More music is getting played.
Greatness.
The Chinese.
Eventually, basically, they get them all out. They get all the vampires out, and now they devising a plan. The wife, Smoke's wife, is like, yo, we gotta figure out a way to get this done. So they did the garlic test.
Yeah.
Delroy Lindo again, excellent comedy piece. I thought he was turning.
Like,
yo.
it's my nerves. I've been drinking that Irish beer early. Yo, he said got me mad. But Shorty was the first one, and the setup and the pacing and the comedy in between.
Yeah.
It was Perline, right?
Yeah.
Which he wound up naming what's the name after at the end? But anyway, it was at the club at the end. But in the post credit. But she was just like one of those pricks. I'm not going to do it because I don't want. Basically, I don't like garlic. Yeah. And they like, yo, if you don't eat the garlic, yo,
you didn't just see what was happening outside, cuz?
And that's another reason everybody like just eat the garlic, yo, like
acting spoiled.
Yeah. Eventually, she ate it. She was like, whatever. And everybody was still like, I don't know. She not really. Yeah. And eventually it was just like, all right, she just being extra because she don't like garlic. It's like, man, it ain't about.
I feel like a lot of chicks would be like that. Yo, if they don't like the food, they're not eating it.
That's the thing about her. She had her moment, not just getting away from her probably her very basic routine lifestyle. She was on stage dancing. Yeah, singing. I think I mentioned that earlier, and it was for her to get away.
And Choir Boy popping out, shutting the joint down. Of course, she gonna be like, "Yo,
yeah.
He's who he said he was."
When they was doing the dancing, stomping scene while they were stomping out, for the loaded dice type situation after he threatened to cut Stack, that was hard, like it was hard,
and a big shout out to Ryan Coogler, like it felt almost like a play because it was just like it wasn't that many like
excellent writing, man.
Scenes, I mean, like, what is it, like, locations and stuff like that. And it was essentially the barn, outside of the barn.
Not trying to OD do too much.
Yeah, and like town and stuff one block in the town. Like, it was, I'm like, this is hard.
It also helps to keep that budget down, too.
Yeah. No, they fences
but you
you
didn't need to be all over the place. It was through the town, through the cotton fields and all of that, a lot of symbolism and that and stuff like that. Yeah. Long story long.
Yeah. All right, we didn't get all the vampires out.
So say the Chinese lady at the shop with her husband, he's trying to get back in because he had went out for a second to warm the car. Now they trying to convince her, man. Yeah. It was all about trusting the people you love and how far you're willing if you have to, kill them or whatever it would need be. He's out there, he's trying to get back in while getting cooked. Yeah. He just mad cool. They like, yo, that's not your husband. She's trying to get back in. But this is how they eventually wound up fighting everybody because she was kind of a G. I know some people that don't like, I seen online, like, she's stupid. Now, the stupid thing is they didn't have an official game plan. Yeah. That's what I didn't like, but I understand her sentiment. She's like, yo, they're going to kill my daughter because they threatened. He was like, we know where your daughter, I know all your thoughts. I know where your daughter is, blah, blah, and I'm going to kill her. And some people
I ain't gonna lie, I hate that lady for that. Yo.
People was like, don't forget the daughter or whatever. It's like, that's your daughter. But also, it was, to me, it's high interpret. It was more than that. It ain't just that, because everybody's just staying there overnight, blah, blah, blah. It's like, they're never going away. They said they're going to get everybody. Which means if you stay in there and just don't do anything, they wiping the town out.
No, you're right.
It does not matter. And eventually, it'll be you, or you're just going to rot in this place. You come back here scared every day, or someplace every day, and not going out while everybody else is getting slaughtered. So they're going to wipe genocide. Yeah, wipe everybody out. That was So you had to.
That's an interesting.
They just didn't. They weren't game planned up enough because they just let like 70 vampires in.
I was like,
but she went out like a G. She stabbed her husband and burned, and I was like, yo, she was gangster with it. Yeah. Eventually,
that was a great scene. I forgot about that. It was so much packed into that movie, bro.
So Stack had to eventually kill his old lady. She was like, because she said, promise me, don't let it, basically take over me if I get bit.
Yeah.
Let me,
because she knew your soul never leaves. Yeah. It's like you kind of just stuck there.
Yeah, let my soul go in peace with our daughter. Yeah. Which they talked about, brought back at the end, with our daughter or whatever. And I could be, that's you freeing me. That's the best thing and best love you could do for me at this point.
Yeah.
And so he had to take her out, and everybody, boom, boom. Delta Slim was a G.
Delta Slim
tried to be a decoy.
He sliced the arm and had the blood coming out with the switchblade like an old player, yo. I'm like, yo, he went out like a player, yo.
Yeah. A lot of honorable moves in him.
Delta Slim is a fire name too, yo.
That's hard.
He definitely would have been with Don Juan and them back in the day.
That was definitely hard. So So he did that. Stack of smoke up there fighting. They trying to figure it out. They show it look like it's about to kill. We don't know. We trying to find out.
Yeah, you find out he let him.
Didn't kill. And
Yo,
the reason he
I respect with the brother honor too, bro. It's like, cause when you find out, it's like, yo, I ain't going to murk you, yo, but like,
because we're gonna get to that. So anyway, that happens. And then the cousin get out the back and he's trying to get away free, and then he get caught. You caught up by the main vampire. Yeah, I mean, and then I keep saying that was wild writing. Because they get to the water and they tussling and stuff, and the vampire's like, yo, I'm came for you. That music, that spiritual, like, just withdraw. He wanted to get that. Like, you had, like, in Get Out, you have the eye. Yeah. Like,
there won't be any racism over here. Everyone's free with us. I'm like, oh.
So he's trying to, we all gonna be a family and live together, blah, blah, blah. And he's in the water, but I was like, I took out right after, so I was like, wild writing, a vampire baptizing you, yo, it's wild writing, yo, dipping him in the lake, on the river or whatever. But so they go in, and then eventually, while he's going through his whole thing, the sun is rising. Yeah, and then they go through there, what's the name, and the sun rising. He's eventually Stat comes out to help. Boom, boom, boom. The sun rises. All of them are starting to die.
And Quiet Boy, when he hit him with the guitar, with the guitar, helped him a lot.
Yeah. That guitar was key.
Got him up off him.
Yes, and he dies, and then the fire tornado. See, that's what they showed a lot. They showed some stuff in previews, but you would never guess. With a few scenes, that's what it was. What it's from. Like when you see that whole joint in there, you kind of find out. That he's going, but their souls never fully go unless I think you gotta officially like stake them and stuff like that, or else they kind of just go into the ether. He might have officially died, but anyway, and then they go, and then that's when they go back to the beginning of the movie. Preacher boy working to the church.
Yo, and that shows how wild his pops was though, like, cause he like you living that life of sin, all this. I'm like, bro, if my son came in cut up like that, guitar smash, I'm like, yo, what happened, yo?
But that's the thing though. Yes, that, but also because he told him though, it was more so similar. It's like I told you.
Yeah, it's crazy.
About the devil's music.
But
what it was shown was you welcome back home, man.
Yeah,
that's what I got from it.
Yeah,
I mean, you welcome back home no matter what happens. You always
that was dope.
Home. And then we get into the scene that turned into Django out of
yo Django 2.0 out of nowhere, bro. Yo, so because
he warned them.
Yo, the climax was so good. It was like, yo, I totally forgot about them beefing with the dude they bought the spot from.
Remember, the vampire explained to them, this was all a setup anyway. They gonna come back to get you, so you might as well be family anyway because they not, it's
because they had got the clan dude. Yeah, that's so great. A testament to great writing.
Showed up. Yeah, in the back of the house. Yeah, and they told him that was his nephew or whatever, stuff like that. Yeah,
but Smoke was prepared. Yeah. And he was mad about his brother, yo. So they had the ultimate Django, bro. My man came out stock, killing everybody. He was a soldier. Sniping.
He was a real soldier.
Ran down with the Tommy gun. Took the grenade scene, the angry grenade throw. Yeah, I mean, I'm like, this is fire,
He
bro.
caught a slug. Yeah. Still was putting in work. Ultimately, as he's starting to fade away, he starts to see his lady who passed, who he had to.
That was a dope scene too.
And the baby together.
Yeah.
All white, this and that and the third, beautiful. Yeah. She said, you can come, join us and I'll let you hold her. He's with the baby and this and this and that. Very, very beautiful and touching scene.
Nice scene.
And then the clanmen come in once again trying to ruin they, but hey man, because he asked for a cigarette, he gave him a cigarette or whatever. And then he's like, hey, he's like basically trying to plead for his life like a sucker. And then he like, man, I'm having this moment with my family. Just murked him, you feel me? And they, and that's how that whole thing plays out, and all the love and the what's the name, and everything coming together. And then we get to like we was talking about earlier, with the he goes back to the church, the cousin, and he's welcomed back home. And then the post-credit scene, the first post-credit scene, he's got to live a full life. They show the scar on his face when he got cut in the water. By the vampire, the scar on his face, and he's a blues singer, at least well known in the area for sure. But he had been up and down, if I'm not mistaken. And I think he named the spot Pearline after the lady he had met back in the day. You know, that they got to step out for that night.
More fire writing.
They had some spicy scenes in between. We had to talk about all of that.
Press down.
My man Smoke put him on in some game.
Some
game. It was some
game.
Sip game maybe. But he put him on in some game, and my man's went in head first without even knowing. But that's pause. But so anyway,
you know, back then though, he like, man, whatever.
He was wilding. But anyway, you know, and eventually Smoke and his lady come back into the fold, but from like it's from like the 90s or the 80s or whatever. And it was a little. I was like, is this now? And they're from that period. I don't know, but maybe it was all in that type of stuff.
I think it was like the 90s.
It had to have been
something like alluding to like
because I was assuming it was all the way now, but it had to have been all of them in that period. And they came back. He was like, "This is the honorable thing about the brother," because even though he's a vampire, he could have been savage, but that brotherly bond was still at least strong to a degree. Because he was like, "Listen," basically, like he was talking to them. They was having a dialogue, and he was like, "Man, you about to pass. You know, I can make you immortal, man. You could play forever. You know, up and down these roads." And he was like, you know. He said, you know, I didn't kill you because the reason I'm still here, you know, my brother said I'll let you live as long as you never mess with him for all the time he's living.
Bro was wild honorable.
Yeah, so he allowed him to be free.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing about a lot of this. And he was like, such a G's response. Cousin was like, you know, I think I had enough for this earth, man. I ain't got that much time, and I don't I done seen it.
I got to live. I got to do what I want. You feel me? Yeah. I don't live in the dark. I don't have to eat people,
I did it my way type stuff. You like, you know what I mean? I don't need to be, you know, living forever. I don't crave that. I got to live it up, you know. And he like, all right, he left it honorable, you know, he dipped out. But what they spoke about when I keep saying this, he was
excellent writing.
What he said
bro.
was that night, that was the best night up until that I had until the daybreak I had ever had, because I got to be free. And that's the whole thing with everybody in there, got to be like free.
Yeah.
And especially that time for black people and stuff like that, the feel good, the joints, the party. That joint was lit up.
And the dope thing was like, yo, I like that he was able to bring such a serious topic with like such a like having a horror while horror is actually happening. Cause like the stuff that he was talking about, just
it was
like
a blended
the race,
genre movie. Honestly, I don't say
that.
Yeah, it was blended
like
genre.
The race stuff though. Like back then, it was crazy. Like you feel me? It was like, yo, you legit would get killed if you went certain places. So it was like, I just thought it was just like very, very dope. To put vampires in that time period was like just a great idea in general, yo. Because it's like
the last post credit scene was him in the church playing. Gosh, now I can't think right now. But he's playing a church song, church hymn, or whatever, and you know, take what you want from that. Just want to wrap that up like that.
Yeah.
But overall, man, this joint was amazing.
But now that we get into the end, I did want to do one thing. We got to obviously do 1 through 10. What would you rate it? 10. I think the same as well. Aaron and Rich said the same thing. And then I just wanted to ask favorite character, bro.
Jeez, man. That's tough. I would have to. I'm probably rolling with Delta Slim, man.
Yeah, I will roll with Delta, and then believe it or not,
I like a
close second would have been Stack for me.
Yeah, he's up there.
Yeah, Smoke too. Like yo, Michael B. Jordan. I didn't want to pick him, but it was he acted.
Probably, no, they did.
I like Stack's girl too, like because I thought she was gonna be like, I was coming into it like, you know how you like watching the film and you trying to.
That's another thing. She welcomed him back, man.
Yeah,
the love was strong. That's what a lot of that love was so strong in there, man. It just you back home.
Yeah,
you back home and stuff like that. Actually, think funny sidebar, man. We keep talking about don't be a lame and don't hate all of that. It's just funny, man. We leaving the theater, right? And I don't be this person, yo. We leaving the theater and somebody was behind us, like, and I'm assuming it was him and his girl. I'm just gonna, make that assumption because that's what it probably seemed like. And he was walking out of the theater like, don't be a hater, folks. We preach this all the time. That's why I'm stressing it because it becomes a reoccurring theme. If you've seen any of our other stuff, check it out. But he's walking out like, I had nothing really I can, take away. Like I didn't have anything I could say necessarily that I would take from it or that was wrong, more so wrong, or I can dock it for the movie. Like, but I can't give it a perfect score, because the whole thing had been in a lot of perfect scores.
Yeah.
And it was like, so you can't, he basically said, I can't find anything wrong with it. That's what he said.
Yeah, it's like, why, yo?
But I can't give it a perfect score. And this is the funny thing. I'm wrapping around this. And fellas, see, this is how it begins, and this is how you can lose it. She sat, this lady, what I'm taking from it, was in such a disgusted type of tone, said, you didn't see anything wrong with it, but you just can't give it a perfect score. This is up to your interpretation. If you're going to not give it a perfect score, you can tell why.
Nobody likes haters.
You know what she said? She said, but you can't. She said you can't see anything wrong with it, but you can't give them a perfect score. She was like, "You're lame,
hater."
Like,
drop the hater.
Bro,
His elbow on him. Yo,
your days are numbered. That's how it starts.
She smelled
That's
that hate.
It was the disgusting
hater,
tone, and it was just like
hater,
everything flashed before her face. Like, why am I?
Yeah.
But like, I just say that to say, don't do that. Listen. If you love the movie, movie. It was a great movie. You can give it an A. You can give it this, give it that, but just keep it real. We always keep that.
Nah, they said this is the first horror film in like 35 years that got an A, like across the board, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, so
it's like on some Exorcist type stuff.
Like, bro, come on, 35 years.
Yeah. Exorcist might be before that, but like that movie had got a lot of.
It was probably like Alien or something like that.
Yes, because Alien, one of them was horror, and one of them was considered sci.
The first one was definitely
they slightly switched the genre or something like that, so that's what it was. But yeah, but when I say Exorcist is one of those movies where it was like, this is a great film and blah blah blah. So it's very rare they give it to the horror, but like it's because it wasn't really. Movie. It was like a weird blended genre with amazing writing, amazing sound. Like I said, I saw it in IMAX.
Yeah,
I advise that. I'm sure any theater's gonna sound good, but yo, in that IMAX.
Yeah, and shout out Black Girl Horror and OG Kendreezy, because I called her immediately after I saw it, because I'm like, yo,
we was
you gotta go see that joint.
IG talking about it.
Yeah, she called me after she saw it yesterday. She was like, great film, yo. Like, Black Girl Horror, we need the real official write-up, yo. You feel me? Yeah, man.
For sure, yeah. It's an excellent movie.
Go see it, bro.
We said all of this for 50-something minutes or whatever to say, go see it. We're gonna go see it twice.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go see it again.
I will have
within the week.
Blu-ray 4K when it come out. Yeah, I mean, support. The word of mouth has been fantastic. They already projecting higher than it was originally projected, because when it's authentic, yo, and it's not like some fabricated push, yo, it's gonna get out there, yo.
Yeah, and shout out Ryan Coogler again, yo. You on a legendary run, bro. Owning the joint, bro. The biggest movie, he probably gonna win something off of this, bro. He's gonna win a lot of awards.
He might actually get the blank check treatment now.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my lady, I said, yo, others have gotten some good, here and there, but like he might be the first like black director in the history.
Yeah, he gonna be in his like Scorsese bag. Yeah, like whoever I need in the film is there, bro.
They gave him a solid budget for this, but like he might get like that 200 milli. Yeah. And we're not counting Marvel to a certain, because Marvel is like a big
like an entity.
Yeah, it's an entity,
Disney, bro.
And it's like allotted money for projects. That's different. We're talking about it's an original.
Yeah, we know it's
an original write-up and direction.
We know it's gonna be fire.
And we can like that Christopher Nolan type.
Yeah, the Chris Nolans. Yeah, I mean the Scorsese's, like I said. You feel me? Like those guys. He's up there now.
Yeah. So salute to Ryan Coogler. Salute to
salute to Spike Lee not being a hater,
oh yes, that's the theme. We keep talking about the theme.
Yo,
man, he said it's the best movie theater experience he had in years, and he was just so giddy to talk about it. He did a vampire joint on The Sweet Blood of Jesus, which was a playoff of Ganja and Hess.
Oh, I remember that movie. That's like a blaxploitation old joint. I remember that.
Is it black? I wouldn't consider. Well, whatever.
It was that era. I think.
But anyway, so he did his. So I know he made his attempt to it. That got mixed reviews. But it all depends on how you like. Spike Lee sometimes, because it's like Spike Lee saying some people don't like Spike and won't. It don't matter what. But it's his interpretation. I know he was happy to see that done,
bro, and he spoke so high
on a bigger budget.
That scene where
Spike Lee don't. My bad, real quick. Spike Lee don't always get the check.
Yeah,
Spike Lee had to fight.
Had to finesse a lot of stuff too.
Inside Man got the check, and a lot of people like, I didn't even know there was a Spike Lee joint, because he got it to even expand even more. You feel me? But that's a whole,
Yeah, and I want to give Spike Lee a shout out because he pointed out that scene you was talking about, like with the shot where it was the different eras of music, our music, and it was just like put together so well, bro. Like I'm like, yo, thank you, yo.
It'll catch you up, yo.
Yeah, my mother hates horror movies, and I keep telling her like, Ma, this one you gotta just fight through like those couple of like vampire bites because it's more than that, yo. It's so deep. Absolutely. Well written, play-esque. Like, I didn't think it was gonna be an acting movie. I'm like, maybe it's just gonna be like some like super action-packed. I didn't expect the 40 minutes of like awesome character development. Yeah. Like, I'm like, yo, I'm thinking like, is this gonna be like Black Panther, Blade? Yeah. Like, that's what I'm thinking. You feel me? And I was like, we got something completely different, bro.
Yeah. So salute once again. Go see it. We recommend it. We don't work with them, but we love good cinema. We love good cinema, and we want people to see this because it's a movie that not only deserves to be seen, but while it's in the theater,
go see it.
You can tell a movie that's made a favor for the theater.
Yeah, do yourself a favor, bro.
Go see it. Cinema is at an all-time high. He shot it in film as well. OG type status, man.
Yeah, go see that.
Salute Ryan Coogler. Salute Michael B. Jordan. Thank y'all.